Hello, it's Prince Easy. Well, as usual, we have a lot to get to, so let's get to it, right? So, I don't know how to express the first, but I'll deliver it as I have received it. I'll deliver it as I've received it. So, Congo. I've been knowing this, but I waited for some confirmation and time, of course, timing. So over there in Congo, something spectacular is already happening. It has been happening for a while. I don't know if people have been noticing it, but let me point it out. Because it's going to get more and more, I don't know, obvious. But basically, the key for Congo lies in the name Eric. Literally, lies in the name Eric. So people that possess the name Eric in their name, not just I don't know, a recent adaptation or whatnot, but they were born with that name, they will rise up to positions of power. Now all I ask for you is to help them, support them. That's all I had to say. Now you either believe it or not, but I didn't plan it. Never been to Congo. Okay? So, one way to secure a country against psyops mainly relies on language. The language and the ambiguities within it. So, detaching ourselves from languages like French and English as, I don't know, a national language and whatnot, I think from the public's perspective, there is a lot more engagement when you speak a familiar language, right? I've seen it so many times. It serves as some form of suppression, especially for information about Tanzania. But really, we are like Ethiopia. We are like a small secret civilization that's tucked in somewhere that speaks its own language. That really, I think that's part helping us. The language Swahili makes us like psyops become like they cannot work. They cannot just work easily. Okay. So I've seen an increase in the number of people. Yeah. And that goes hand in hand in increase in transport means and whatnot. Yeah. So I think the time is now to like optimize it with the current infrastructure. We need to optimize it. I remember back when the BRT was starting, a lot of people left their cars at home actually because it was convenient and reliable, and still is. But people are not serious. They do not know the treasure or the amount of the importance of their service. Oh no. It's raining again. But anyway, they don't recognize the importance of that particular infrastructure, the BRT. The convenience to get from, I don't know, from Kibaha to literally Gerezani. That's amazing. That's revolutionary. a train would be better because of the loading and whatnot, but those are thoughts from for down the line, you know. But trains, like for Zanzibar, for instance, you know, a well-constructed train line that, you know, I heard you're trying to make a train line out there. It's a great idea, especially for that. It will serve a multi-purpose type of situation, okay? And it all comes down to where these lines go, okay? These lines go, okay? It's not like over here, Bara, we just let some train lines die, you know, like they were useless, you know. That's amazing to me, you know. Like this Tazara line, you know, it's quite useful, and it could be revived and be used to access some remote areas within the country, you know. Trains are just another level of usefulness when it comes to moving people and loads. I think I've expressed this before, yeah? And of course that whole barabara of Kosota, you know, is a regular scene to have trucks over there queuing up for like days and days and days, you know. Like people need to like use technology and optimize, you know. It's important to optimize, you know. When optimization occurs, then we start to see the results and people being serviced quicker, you know. Less steps, less hassle, you know. I think that's another issue. Hassle. There's a lot of hustling, and people are making money out of this hassle of people trying to acquire this service. That's why we see them stagnating the situation, just costing people time and money, because some people have just rented these trucks to perform. So it's the same as the same complaints that the people at the Bandari had, you know, that, you know, they stay in the queue for a long time, you know. I think that also applies even to these trucks also, you know. So to finish up on the agendas before we move on to another segment, is those lines right there, okay? 1 Peter 3 and 2 Peter 3, right? So let's move on. Okay, so another segment is narrative control. Of course, narrative control. As the apocalypse is happening, there is a need for narrative control, especially for our enemy. So science versus 1 Corinthians 3:7. Yeah, the seed, the farmer, the soil, and life itself. Well, this line reminds people that at the end of every line and at the beginning of every line is God himself. And that's why he calls himself Alpha and Omega. You know, because he is Alpha Omega, literally. Not just in time, but for everything. Okay, we exist because he exists, if you can even call it that. I don't think existing is the right term to use when it comes talking about the creator, but for context, I think it's appropriate. Okay, so it's a reminder that, you know, it's not about the farming techniques, it's not about this technology within the seeds like these people would have you believe, or about the water or something like that, you know. This is the hand of God doing work every day. Okay, and we must not forget this, you know, because that's our downfall, you know. The more knowledge we increases, the more we know, we think that we know everything. But I'm just here to remind you, like, at the end of every line, there is God himself, the hand of God working. Okay, so to some, it's a disappointment, but to people like me, it's a relief that all of these occurrences are not random events, but they are all a single thing, orchestrated and overseen by the Creator himself, and that's a comforting thought for my. Okay, but some would wish to have control over their lives, you know. They speak in the same way as those people talking down on organized religion, you know, like what you know even now came from that, you know. It's not a new thing, you know, like organized religion was not established by the Vatican, you know. It existed, it has been existing. As society grows, so does what we call the church grows. Okay, so in order to have the same brotherhood, they cannot be like, you know what I mean, right? So it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Some people want to be gods in their own lives, you know, while they don't know what it takes to even be a god, because they don't know what God is. That's a problem right there. If they knew God is, then they would understand that word that God said. You can't even make hair grow even a couple centimeters. You can't make him grow. You by your own thumb. You can't. Okay, so it's all in his control. Okay, so we should be relieved that is the case. But for some, it's a disappointment, and of course they are trying to gather whatever strength they have to prove a point, I guess. I don't know. The Red Sea Resorts, it's a I don't know, it's a movie or reality or what. But it's a whole angle of the Queen of Sheba, Black Jew connection situation, right? They figure that they can keep the title that they stole and yet have a relationship with the Black Judah tribes, so as they can, of course, kill the flower moon or some kill the flower moon of everything over there, right? Because they done took niggas over there, and these niggas are gonna marry, right? And when they marry, it all becomes whole complicated. Yeah, that's why they are pushing for a mixing. I'm not against the mixing of races by any. The spirit, I question the spirit, you know. Some white women out here are literally making videos talking about, I am worried about global warming and the future of my children, so I'm gonna marry a black man so as I can have melanated children, those that will survive, I don't know, the future. You know? Well, it's a conspiracy, and this conspiracy has a spirit. And that spirit is of death and killing of the black peoples. And people have to wake up to that situation. Why do they want to harm the black people? Because they know Judah is black, and they want to kill whoever comes to stand to help Judah, as they have, right? So let's move on. Let's look at space as a form of escapism. You know, they say it's the next frontier and whatnot, but in reality, your DNA is the next frontier. Space is just a form of escapism that they can give the masses to distract them. You know, all of these crises, is funny that they all can be solved by going somewhere else rather than remaining here on this earth, right? Meanwhile, we all know that we cannot, it's not gonna happen that these people will move the entirety of humanity over there. So that just leaves death. We have to like kill a lot of cows, we have to kill a lot of people so as to serve the purpose of saving Mother Earth and whatnot. You know, that's just that pride, you know, that pride of knowledge. You know, the people now can look at ice and say this is 35 million years old. Like, nigga, you need to relax. Yeah? You know, and wonder what sustained it that long. And it's all God, you know. We don't have to find out everything because it's not, we cannot even apprehend, you know. I am the prince and I'm like having a hard time catching up, you know, about the realities of this world and what's wrong with this world as of now. And let me tell you, Jacob is in trouble. That's no lie. Judah is in trouble. So much trouble as of now, okay? But we try, I try to keep my spirit up, to keep on doing what I'm brought here to do, because there is no other option, right? So they literally defined what it means to look up in the sky as our forefathers did. They looked up in the sky, they prayed looking up in the sky because they literally knew that God was literally above there, not figuratively, but literally above there. Yeah, just like literally hell is beneath our feet, not the earth, but beneath the earth. Yeah, you can call it a realm or whatever. Yeah? It's another reality. It has its own situation, but it's a reality nevertheless, a tangible one. Okay, so they're trying to remake everything in their image. Yeah, they're trying to redefine what God saw was good. They're trying to make it perfect. You know, they try to say like horses, I don't know, should have wings, or I don't know, elephants could be used as, I don't know, war machines or whatever. You know, these things have happened before, you know, going back to India, using rhinos, you know, and all of these creatures that they made in labs, you know. This is just them trying to play God. Okay, but in order for them to be true creators, they have to make something out of nothing, which we know they can't do. So I don't know what's the fuss about. I think it's just about pride. Yeah, that's what it's about, you know. Yeah. But we have to remember that the earth is the footstool of God. He sees what they're doing. Like, they can't hide from him. Yeah, they can't hide. So we have to not want to escape. We must not want to escape. We must face in order to grow, you know. And one of the realities that people have to face is that space is actually fake. and we live inside an enclosure. And if that's the case, then there is a creator. And that information might cause an existential crisis to some people, but it's the truth, and it's unchanging. No matter how much faith you have, you can't make a black person white. That would be violating the fundamentals of faith itself. Okay. Anyway. So, Zionists and Iranians apparently have their own messiah in the cooking, and they are all related to the prince, one or the other. This is them trying to escape their fate, because what is the fate of the Gentile nations? It's exactly what's happened to Israel, okay? Because the sins of Israel are the sins of the world right now, literally. Okay, so those Gentile nations cannot escape their fate. They will suffer just like how the black man has suffered. That's just when God says vengeance is mine. That's what it means. Okay, because really nothing has been done to correct this error. People have just been shoving it in the back seat, talking about, I don't know, other things like the Holocaust. No, but when it comes to the black man, all people have to come in and chime in and say, now we have been oppressed too and we demand this and that. No, man. Like, please. 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 Your words cannot keep you safe, cannot save you from God's vengeance. Okay? And I think for all our sakes, it should be accepted, because the world right now is like, it's a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess. And it's even a bigger mess trying to rectify it, because the Gentiles have picked up arms and they hate God. So I don't know. Okay, so we are also in these times going to see a lot of events. In this realm we call them events, but in the other they are called angelic interference. If I don't know if it's the right word to call it. We shall see signs in the sun. Of course, the sun will bless and will punish. Okay, it will bless the black man and it will punish the Gentiles, the white nations, for all of that. For all of that they have done to the black man. Bondage, being eaten, being sold, all of those things. It's just like, me myself, I don't even want to go back there. When I go back there, I think I see the future even clearer. And if the white man went as far as to castrate even these supposed name stealers, they literally castrated people that they took from Ethiopia to over there. They castrated them. Some of them were, I don't know, made infertile for a while, so as they cannot have roots over there. So why are they calling them there in the first place? It's a ruse. Yeah. It's a ruse. It's a distraction, and the Ethiopians keep falling for it every freaking time. Yeah. Every freaking time, they have this Selassie guy who calls himself God. Like, really? That's the same type of thinking that got Egypt and Kush into trouble. Okay, these powerful kings declared themselves God because of all of that they have achieved, and for that they got punished. Okay, it's the same thing as denying the existence of God. Okay, if you deny the existence of God, then you deny chance and divine intervention, which makes literally everything out of control, and you are the maker of that order. You and your brain make order out of chaos. Because God doesn't exist, then chaos exists. Okay, chaos ensues because God is order. Okay, so there is a deeper meaning to a person saying that they are atheists. It says a lot about them, or otherwise they don't really know what they're saying. They don't really know what they're talking about. Okay, so we have these 747s just crashing. It's the most popular jet out there. This is just a reminder. I've been saying this, that's gonna get harder to travel. They want to interfere with the exodus to buy themselves time. They want to interfere with the exodus to buy themselves time. That's what they do. That's what they're doing actively. Okay, and people are not paying attention. Yeah, people are not paying attention. But hey, I'm just here to make you pay attention. So, some leader thought it was a great idea to come out and give out this comment that he hopes that hell is empty. This is just, if I'm being nice, if I'm being nice, I would say that the person giving out this comment has literally lost their faith, and if they call themselves Christians, it's even worse. It's even worse. And if they're even in places of power, it's even worse. Okay, because what are they literally teaching? That Satan does not exist. There is no dark force out there that wants to harm humanity. It does not exist. So what happened? Did we ourselves just fall in the garden? Did we just fall without tripping on anything? Did that happen? Who taught us weapons? Who taught us all of these tools of death that we didn't really need to begin with? Who made the borders? And if people come out here and say like it's a conspiracy, then people look at them funny. It's not a conspiracy. It's the truth. It's the reality that you're living in. But we are trained to examine a phenomenon and come out with a desired explanation to that phenomenon. And just like World War I or World War II, if everybody is asked why did it happen, why did the First World War happen, of course they have a reason. Some of them political, some of them religious, some of them whatever. Either way, it's a reason. These are all perspectives of a single incident. So we need to be careful. We need to be careful of such people. So it literally says in the scripture, hell was prepared for Satan and his angels. Satan and his angels and everybody that followed suit. So I don't think hell is gonna be empty. I don't think so. I'm just saying I don't think so. And I'm not the one to take people to hell. That's not my situation. Okay. people get themselves over there by aligning themselves with demons and their cause. Okay, so all of this mess, all of this apocalypse, it's your fault. It's not mine. You did this. You thought that running a kingdom on fear is sustainable. You thought killing princes and prophets and things like that would keep you in power, but right now it's coming to bite you in the back. So tick tock, and all of these promises of flying car, unlimited energy, and cures of every kind coming out over here and to be tested, quote unquote. But really, they want to make people unworthy by, I don't know, ruining their body. I don't know if the body makes one unworthy. It's the soul, it's the spirit. Okay? All of our bodies are fallen. All of our bodies are fallen. Right? If you want to know a unfallen body, then you need to look at Christ after resurrection. Right? And tell me if that wouldn't change everything. Okay? The glorified body. That's a common term used in the Christian cycles. The glorified body is spectacular. If we had those right now, we won't need anything that we need right now, And take it from me, it's wonderful. Okay, I've been given a taste of that body. It's a blessing and torture at the same time. It's a blessing to know that we are looking towards something, and it's also a painful to know what we have lost. So for me, I just grow from that whole situation, and I even want it more now. I even want it more, that promise of our bodies and everything being remade. It's desirable, it's required, it's needed. It's like praying for health in a sick world. It's a complex statement right there. It's like the superpower of these heroes in these movies, the healing ability, right? The healing ability. It's awesome, and it's not so awesome, right? So that's nothing compared to our glorified bodies. I'm just giving a simple example, right? We won't need food, we won't need to all of these things, clothing, and why? We don't feel the weather. We are not affected by the weather. No animal can kill us, and nothing can kill us. As of now, our souls are the only thing that's immortal. But we're gonna have immortal bodies also, right? Now imagine that, immortal bodies. Okay, but something has to happen to the spirit. Okay, if you give the people of today immortal bodies, it's like condemning them to hell on earth, right? So it's a process, and it's a process. Believe me, it's a process, right? And if you understand that, then you'll understand why everything has to happen gradually, because there's no going back. After this, there's no going back. There's just pure happiness after the end of the road, or pure sadness, and it's really a simple choice for every human I know. They will choose happiness every freaking time, no matter what the cost is. They'll choose to be happy. They'll find happiness, they'll pursue it. Okay, and since there's a force working against our happiness, then here we are fighting to be happy. Yeah? That's a complex statement within itself. You're fighting to be happy. Yeah. And that's the catch right there. This is why, like, the digital soldier situation is just a mess. It's just a mess, It's just a mess. Now these people are phrasing it like it's a terrible thing, like these people are defiant. These people are, I don't know, revolutionaries and whatnot. No, they just spoke the truth. They're not resisting anybody. They're not up in arms against somebody. Yeah? People have said many things over the years, many, and people reacted to them, But somehow they're trying to make these African bishops seem like they're enemies and they're enemies of progress, and it's not right. Yeah. If the Gentile nations have lost the spine to say anything because of money and Jesuit influence within the Vatican, which is obvious and prevalent, even the Masonic influence within it. It's like, are people stupid or just oblivious to the existence of the devil? I don't know. I guess if people lose faith, then they lose everything. And I think that's the issue, People do not really understand what they believe. Okay, but here I am again, trying to revive, trying to give life. And life is the truth, brothers and sisters. And there's no other way to say it, right? They used the political angle. That didn't work. There was division, yeah? Now they're trying to use the other angle. That statement given out by the Pope was obviously trying to stir up the pot in the African church, and we ain't having it. We ain't having it. We are not having it. We the people and we as a church, we are not having it. Okay? We are not having it. So I saw this situation circulating a while back. Well, people do what they want. It's important. Free will is like the make of peace and war at the same time. Free will. And we have to use it wisely. Wisely. And the trend is that, everybody wants to be a shepherd. And they basically just end up creating a mess and arguments and back and forth over nothing. Over nothing. Look at the term. This is why the psyops don't work on Africa. They use terms like ravaging. Do you know what ravaging means? Fentanyl is ravaging the USA. That is the correct term. Okay? I don't think this drug mixed with human bones. This is just another psyop, Just more psyops against cannabis. because they know something you don't, and you have been trying to avoid, like a plague of some sort, you know. Can you even explain the conversion? How did the civilization of Kush become to be known as cannabis? What's the connection? Let's begin there. And of course, if you look at the links in the last video, I think you should. This movie, Spaceman. Where you go, I go. And where I go, you go. I left the caption there. This is that symbolism. That symbolism referring to the mantra or the oath, the oath of the QAnons. Where we go one, we go all. They're trying to create a human Nephilim civilization like they have done before, and that will not happen. Iron will not cleave to clay, clay will not cleave to iron. So yeah, I think that's all I had to share for now. We'll see each other when we see each other. General Easy signing out. Love you. Bye.